Hello and welcome back to Unpopular People.
We believe that listening and learning from each other is key for personal development and success.
Today in our interview, Gennaro Porricelli from Italy.
I think you have to pronounce his name a little bit different, but it's fine because we're not Italian. And he's from Italy. He's a sports person. We met him here in Australia at the Gold Coast, and we want to find out a little bit more about him, what he's doing. This morning we did a very interesting group exercise session with him about functional movement and animal flow.
All important information about this podcast episode and the show notes you will find on our website www.unpopularpeople.com.
Don't forget to give us a rating on Apple Podcast. That would help us a lot. And also sign up for our newsletter, also on www.unpopularpeople.com for more information and updates about the upcoming shows.
And don't forget to have a look on our latest shop that's online now with clothes and some interesting Unpopular People products. Enjoy!
And now enjoy this inspiring interview with
Gennaro.
Okay, hi Gennaro.
Hello.
How are you? We will ask you some questions today, and so our first question is always the same, and I pass you on to Elisa.
Yeah, we would like to find out a little bit more about you. Where were you born and how did you grow up?
Hello everyone. Hello Elisa. Hello Ben. I'm really glad to be here and thank you very much for this opportunity that you're giving me. And I'm a bit nervous. It's fine to be nervous. But anyway, well done with the pronunciation of my name. That was really good. I'm really impressed with that. It's not a really easy name to pronounce. By the way, my name is Gennaro. Yes, and I'm Italian, and I'm born in Naples, beautiful city in South Italy, which we call the city of the sun. When, let's say, the pizza is born, beautiful coffee, we have beautiful beaches and people with a big heart. But I'm sure you can find this everywhere in the world. So, but anyway, I'm very proud where I come from because I learned a lot while I was growing, especially because when you grow, when you have just enough to go with your family. I come from very simple family. My mom, she's an housekeeper, and my dad is a simple worker. But I've been learning so much from them because having maybe just a little and every day, I never miss anything. I always have food. I always have clothes. I always had love, and this is what's really important for me to grow up with a lot of principles in my life, remaining always humble and respectful to everyone that is around us. Yes, I'm really glad because also I grew up in a family in which believes in God, and even though we are not Christian or Catholic, but we firmly believe in love and in God and anything that He gives us in our life, all the teachings. I grew up in this environment and I'm still practicing, I'm still believing obviously, and it's a huge part of my life too. And I'm so glad for all the teachings that my family gave it to me. Growing up in Naples, well, it was good. It was sometimes tough. That's why maybe I decided to start and travel and thinking and trying to make something better for my life, having always some better opportunity. And I also have to mention that I have a brother and a sister, which my brother and my sister, she lives in Rome with a boyfriend, and she's 35, and I have a brother as well, which lives in Sydney. We used to live together. We traveled together as well, living in London together for 3 years. But now we had to separate because I decided to move up here in Gold Coast to try something different, have a new experience. But yes, I started very, very young to move. I moved the first time when I was 16. I went to North Italy, then came back home, then I moved again. So let's say that it's been more than 12 years that I'm around. I left home because I always judge myself like I wanna feel very ambitious and like a little bit wild in myself. I know that out there is so much beauty, and I just wanted to discover. I want always better for my life because we all deserve better. And I don't want to say could be a waste to stay home, because it's not. Because home you have still so many beautiful things, and I respect all my friends, still all the people that are still there and living their life. I miss them actually. For me, I wanted always something more for me. Still now that I'm 32 years old, and I feel great actually, and I still want more, because I believe there is you could never stop willing to grow and improve and getting better from life, because there is so much out there that you can get it from knowledge, and all the people that you met around the world, they've been taught me so much. They've been teaching me so much inspiration I had, and everywhere I have worked, I did all kind of jobs. Sometimes very hard, and sometimes I was like, what I'm doing here? But I knew it that it was for my growth, for myself, to let me become a better man. That's what it's one of my most aims for me, becoming a better man every day. Being a good person not only for myself, but for the people around me, for the environment. Also, it's not only about. I also believe it's not only about people. It's also about the environment, in which sometimes we neglect a little bit. How important it is to also to care about the nature that we have around us. Because I like to say that nature gives us so much every day, and the best of it is that it doesn't ask anything in return. So we just maybe should respect it a little bit more. And I do, and I know many people do still in the world. But we have to be as an impact as well, to kind of share the love we have for it, and let the people respect it more, understand it more, love it more, because that's all we have. And we're not gonna have another planet to where to live. And also, like when we think about having children or family, we have to think to do it from them, for them. Sorry, because they are our future, and they deserve to live in a good environment as we used to grow up and we used to live. When I moved to North Italy again, which I spent like 4 years of my life working there as a labor. I used to work in construction, as I said before. I used to do many jobs. I also did like it was hard, but sometimes people think that being a labor or this kind of jobs, that's like they're more like maybe jobs that no one's really want to do, because they think it's too hard. But for what I did and what I learned in that, the amazing people I met there, they teach me so much, and the understanding and growing even more humble for something that if people doesn't do this, you don't gonna have a house where to live in. If people doesn't pick up the rubbish, you're gonna have dirty streets. And if there are so many other jobs that people won't like to do it, and maybe sometimes we are judgmental, but we shouldn't. We should respect them more, because I've been there for 4 years, and I used to work in the snow, in the cold, in the heat. For like 40 degrees and everything. It was very hard, and I was getting so skinny, and I was feeling my body. I was 21. I was like feeling broken every day. But then I kind of get used to it, because I developed a stronger mentality as well to approach this work. Because maybe you you think you don't want to do this, but I mentioned before, everything that comes into your life has a reason, and it comes because it's meant to be something for you, for what is next. And I'm very happy for what I did, and I will do it 100 times again. And yes.
Do you still remember the feeling you had back then? Because you said you miss your family and your friends and the people back home. But do you still remember the feeling you had when you left for the first time? What made you move to another place, and knowing that you're gonna miss your friends and still gonna do it? How did you feel back then?
So what I didn't mention, that the first time I left home was I had 16. I was 16 years old, and as many times happened, I left because for love, because I found a girl and we fell in love. When you are a teenager, and for me there was also a situation to escape, because I always had this thinking myself that I wanted to live and travel, and since I was a little, and even though being there and have opportunity to live, to go and experience a new place, it brought me a kind of motivation that I really wanted to do it. It wasn't easy, obviously, at 16 years old, because it wasn't easy to deal with my family and with my dad and my mom. But I had I still have the fortune to have an incredible mom. Even my dad, he is amazing. But I have to mention my mom. She's a great woman, and always the support she gave me, even in this. Even when I was 16, and for a mom, you don't want that someone goes so far away. But I had to, because where I was, it was in Trieste, it's North Italy, it was like 1,000 kilometers away from home. And I've been there for more than 1 year. I started school there, and I started to study there, and the support of my mom was great, because she always used to be like this, and she always supported us and pushed us to do whatever we wanted to do with love and understanding. And that's why also maybe where I am now, where all the things that I have done, is also because they never told me, why you're doing this, don't do that, do this instead. So they always give us freedom of choice. And it wasn't, obviously, coming back to your question as well, no easy to go. I left, and even my friends, I had friends that they didn't talk to me, like, because they were so upset I was leaving. I was 16, like, I was very young. It's an experience that you do in life that you have to grow. And I'm glad I did it, because it ended up not the best experience of my life. But it was good, because I grew a lot, became more mature, even still, I was still so young. And it was great for me to learning also the approach to have eventually in the future with someone. And yes, I did have learned a lot. And after it, I came back, and I was like coming back and still like living. So let's say if now it's like more than 12 years I am away, I'm kind of used to this. Even like my family and my friends, I also have now friends that they go around, they live around, who lives in London, who lives in Kazakhstan, who lives in North Italy. Some of them lives here in Australia, some of them live. Obviously, the feeling was always, I always feel that I miss my family, I miss the place where I come from, and my friends, obviously. But the feeling I had, the motivation to still go and travel and doing experience and live it, and live my life the best way I can. It was good motivation for me. And but I know that one day, even though I'm still living here in Australia, I have the desire in my heart that I want to go back, because I'm not saying living in Italy, but going back in a situation in which I can live my family more. I can experience a little bit more of them, especially now they are growing, and I feel like I want to leave them while they are still in good health, and know that when they are too old, and I just have to look after them, because I had this experience with my grandparents as well, that my parents, they found in a situation that they had to look after them, and for a long time, for years, because of different reasons. So I really feel like I have a sister and my mom, my dad. I want to leave them, because for me, even though I know I lived away from so many years, but for me, family is one of the most important things. It really matters a lot, and I feel it in my heart. And I just want to do, they've been doing so much for me, and I really want to go back to them and do something for them as well. As a son, I hope they are proud of me. I just wanted to let them feel that I am always present, and anything they have done for me, I really want to give them back and do it for them, and let them feel always that I am present and I am in their life. So having the opportunity, maybe even not living in Italy, but living in another country in Europe or somewhere else, but maybe for a period going back for a year or so, and be closer to them, and not being able to see them just once every 2 years, but maybe seeing them 2 to 3 times a year, which can really make the difference.
Yes, thank you so far. During 12 years of traveling, you said you have learned a lot. What the most important thing you learned when you look back, when you reflect? What is this for you?
Very good question, by the way. Thank you for that. I have learned a lot, yes, indeed, I did. And especially now in this period of my life, in the past years, I'm learning even more. One of the most things I'm learning is how to love life every day even more, because life is such a gift that we are experiencing every day, and and there could be so many situations out there, and we have to be very proud of what we have every day. And what I have learned as well, the love for nature. So it's all about what I have learned a lot is not being attached to the material things, and be more like living the life at the fullest. I like to say, feel it, love it, and live it at the fullest indeed. So the love for nature, and even the appreciation of just a simple thing, that's what I've learned the most in these years. Because in the past it was more like, I was young and I used to live in London, and I did a lot of going out and enjoying time with friends, and we can say parties, and I wasn't loving myself much. Now I'm doing more. I'm about also like respecting myself, which is very important, because I'm willing, to be honest, to live as much as I can, because the love I have for life and for the nature, for what I want to do for me, and it's really important. And I don't want to waste this opportunity to make it at the best way I can. And the best way I can for me, what I have learned, is to give to others, to be as an impact for the people around me. I'm still trying to find my way to do it. It's not easy, obviously, but the thing that I have the will, and I'm meeting amazing people every day in my life, and I'm so glad for it. But I know that I want to do more for the people that really need, even the simple thing. And I believe that we need to be givers instead of takers, because that's the real reward in the end of the day. Because just seeing a simple person smiling, it can make you smile back too, and feeling good, and give you the motivation to do more. It's not something easy to do. I do have the appreciation of how many people around do so much for others and help. And I want to do the same, but it's not something that I'm looking in the future and say when this is going to happen, because I guess I'm doing it already, even in my everyday life, giving a smile to everyone, and giving always good words, and wishing have a great day. This is also a way to do it. It's not just being maybe going in the hospital to help and voluntary. It is also like that, but we need to understand that it needs to be something, for my opinion, that needs to be in the everyday to be a good person and to give. That's what maybe sometimes people get confused. They're waiting for the opportunity to give, and they're still like waiting still, and I don't want that. That's why for me it's important to do it every day, and really make it worth it to live, because we don't know what's going to happen in the future, how long we have to live, and it's fair enough, but I'm so also like I feel so privileged also for my health, for what I have, and I feel that I'm fortunate to be in a good health. I'm eating healthy. I have abundance on food, which not everyone has. So this is another privilege, and being opportunity to work in a fitness industry, and where I can look after my body as well, about my mind as well, because in this, as I say, in the past years is maybe in which my development was the most of my development, because I started to read. I wasn't a reader till almost 28, and now, for example, in 4 months I read 3 books. So something is changing, because I always wanted this to change for the better. And reading, starting to meditate, physical activity, eating well, willing to give, and helping people. I'm not saying that everyone has to be like this. Everyone chooses to live the life how they want. But this is my way. I would like to do mine, live mine, and willing to do better.
So let's go like some steps back again, because you said also you lived in London for a while, and now you're in Australia, and you mentioned that you are working in the fitness industry. So tell us a little bit about this. Like, why did you go to London? Like, what was the reason you actually left Italy behind and went to London? Were there some steps in between? And also from London to Australia, it's another really big step over the ocean and like on the other side of the planet. So what made you move to Australia or come to Australia? And also, what made you to choose like the fitness industry as your profession?
Yes, thank you for that. To be honest, first I want to mention that Australia is something that I was dreaming of since I was 19, even though I came here when I was 27. But I believe it was the better time for me to come here when I was more mature and like in some ways, let's say in a good way, a better man. Because when I left, when I was 20, I left to North Italy, in which, as I said, I lived 4 years. And then I was there, I was, I was working in construction. I had everything. I had a good relationship. I was working in construction. I had good friends. I bought my first car and everything. But then suddenly, I started to develop this thought, like, that's it, Gennaro, that's what you want, that's gonna be your life, working like this, maybe working as a laborer, I don't know, for many years, and living the life like this without any more ambition. So I always had this thing inside of me that I wanted to move, I wanted to go. Even though I stopped for 4 years when I was there, then I said I gotta make some changes for the better, and I really wanted to go somewhere like in Europe, and I chose London because my brother was there. So then, yes, because my brother moved 6 months prior in London, and I experienced some tough time in Italy, in which I have lost a job, and I've been like going around for 1 year trying to find a job, or maybe just working the day by day in bars or restaurants. I wasn't able to find any good job. I did give an opportunity still to Italy, because in Italy, in the end of the day, if you have a good job, it's a good life. But I also like I also applied for McDonald's. I try to open my door to everywhere. There is nothing to be ashamed of, because you always need to be humble. But then I said, okay, this is the time that I gotta go, and I moved to London. And I changed completely my work experience, and I started to work in a bar as a bar back eventually, and then in the future I became a bartender. I had the fortune to work in a very good club in London, which is called the Arts Club in Mayfair. I can say that London was a great experience. It was a great teaching for me in what I have learned in hospitality and bartending and customer service. I had the opportunity to be with my brother, which was good. But I have met so many people, so many friends that are still my brothers now, and they've been teaching me so much in that 3 years, because I've been there 3 years. As I said before, that's how it's meant to be. Maybe it didn't meant to be in Italy for that period. Then I had to move. And London was my home for 3 years, and it was a beautiful experience. It wasn't a lifestyle, obviously, that I'm doing now. I changed pretty much everything, but it was a period of life that we had to go through it, and it was great. But then after that, still like my mind still like kind of trying to develop and wanted to change something. And I was feeling after 3 years, even though I really loved London and living there, but you know what I mean, like I come from Naples, and living in a cloudy city, mostly raining, nothing to say, like it's a beautiful city, but I still wanted, I was young, and I wanted something still more, to experience more. Why not? I can always go back, you know what I mean? So
just as a short cliffhanger, I think we should move inside, because there are like trucks coming and stuff, and it's just easier to do it inside. Yeah, we should just move very quick.
Thank you. So yes, as I was saying, when I decided then to leave London, you can always go back. Indeed, we don't have to feel that we don't have another choice or other like opportunity. There always can be another opportunity in life, and when you make a choice, it's something even more beautiful can come after. As I did, then I decided. I found myself talking with my brother and saying to him, "Man, it's been 3 years we are in London, and I think it's time to move on. For now, we're still young and we can have so much still to experience." And that's what we decided to do. And I was pushing him and to come, and I'm glad we did it together. So I left London after 3 years. It wasn't easy, obviously, because I had my life there and everything, friends, friends, and part of my family. So then we moved to Italy. We spent maybe a month and a half, and then we moved to Australia. My brother and me, yes, we moved together, and because I always was dreaming about it, and I always wanted to experience the nature that there is here in Australia. I was having this desire in myself. I was talking with people, man. I was like, I want to travel. I want to travel Australia. I want to go around. I want to see all the beauty, and I really want to make it happen because you can conceive in your mind can be achieved in your hands. So if you think about it and anything that you want it so bad, you want it so much, you can definitely make it happen. So just a matter of time. I'm so glad we did it, and we moved together. We moved in Sydney, in which we used to live in Bondi Beach, and of course, where an Italian goes if not in Bondi Beach to live, yeah? So, fair enough. Coming from London anyway. It was great. I had obviously I went there with the mindset of traveling. Not much doing about job related. So the first year was a lot about it. And also, I didn't go to Australia with the aim to doing the farm work. But then after already 2 or 3 months, I started to say, man, as you always say to yourself, that you want to do as much experience you have. You want to live your life at the better way you can. So I took it as an experience that I had to do it. Not only for the second year visa, but as an experience for life that you can do just once. And now that it was really hard, indeed. But now that I think about it, I just smile and think everything I lived, the people I met, so many different nationality, and all the teachings from others, and the beauty I have seen with all the nature around me, working in fields, and all of that this beautiful country has to offer. So after spending the first period working a lot actually in hospitality in Sydney, because I want to save some money for travel. So then I left with a friend of mine, which his name is Marco, if I can mention. And we became really good brothers, and we used to be together for 7 months. We started to travel from Sydney to Queensland with the car, and starting to see some other beauty of Australia, and went to the farm, in which we spent almost 4 months there, driving every day to go to the field. In the beginning, I remember we were just 2 of us. It was 5 degrees in the field with all those Australians that I thought my English was good, but maybe not really good enough, because I was they were talking, imagine those people from the field, Australian, and all the slangs, and I wasn't understanding anything. I was like, man, really? What I have learned in all those time about English? And there was one funny thing I want to say. I remember once I was working there under the sun. I was closing this big box in the field, and this guy came with the tractor, and he started to talk to me with the tractor, hey man, in this Australian slang and stuff and everything. And I was like, man, if I don't understand you normally, can you imagine how could I understand you with the tractor on? You know what I mean? So it's impossible for me. Can you please switch this tractor? But anyway, that was just one of the very good and nice moments. But also that, everything happened for a reason, and I have learned my English. I improved it so much working in there, and the experience I had, there are no enough words to describe it, or all that I earned from it. And then after it, we started to travel. After that month, we took a period of travel, me and Marco, and so we decided to travel in Australia. We were camping, sleeping in the car, under the stars, cooking in the back of the car, anything in the middle of nowhere. There were no people. the beauty of it, there was just nature around us, and we have seen so many different beaches and so many animals and everything. That was every day was a different day. That's the beauty.
Where was Marco from again?
Marco is another Italian guy which I met in Australia. He's from Turin. So yes, we met there in New Year's Eve, and I don't know. You know when you meet someone and you have the click, and I have a better relationship with him now from people that I know from years, and maybe I know him just from not even 3 years,
So, and where was the farm? What's the name of the farm?
The farm was in Queensland, in Noosa, which was a beautiful place. Actually, it was in Coroil. It was like maybe 20 minutes driving from Noosa, and I used to pick up ginger for almost 4 months. What an experience. It was kind of boring and slow and hard at the same time, and a lot, I think everyone that had done some farm work can say the same. But to be honest, I was lucky for what the experience I had, because I can't really complain, because I know that there are people that really had a bad experience while farming. But I was living in this beautiful house, surrounded by nature, and I'm telling you, every time I was coming home, there were like at least 10 to 15 kangaroos all around, deers. You could feel countless of different birds every morning, waking up at 5 a.m. So that was great. That was really good. And we were living in this house. We were like, in the beginning, 7 people, then 15, then 18. Then we ended up 22 people in one house, sharing everything. It wasn't easy, of course. Now I'm talking because we had the experience, but I think we did very well, because we were. I always used to be. I always liked training, so I was really pushing him, and we were training like 6 days a week, every day. We were feeling great. I was seeing people in the field like. Very fatigued of what they were doing, and they were really feeling the job. But instead, I always used to be like, I wanted to motivate people. And with Marco was great, because I was feeling that I was doing something for him, and he said it, not for arrogance, please don't get me wrong, but he said that I have changed his life in some ways, because I have told him so much. And we were training, we were motivating each other all the time, and while working in the field, we were like feeling so strong, feeling like tigers, and feeling like so powerful, because the training, eating well, the right mindset. So we approached that experience, I think, in the best way, even though it wasn't easy. Of course, I had some moments in which really I was really down. I wasn't talking with anyone sometimes, and I had this day once where I was. In the end of the shift, I was like there, and I didn't want to talk with anyone. I was feeling so down. I was like, man, this job, what I'm doing, and it wasn't a good feeling. And then after it, I was like to myself, man, you don't have to feel like this anymore. It's not the point. Live the experience the best way you can. And from that day, I said I have to approach it in a different way. So this always like, for me, I always said, I gotta be better. I wanna grow. And so from that day, I approached it differently. I didn't have another day like that. There were hard days, but I didn't wanna feel like that again. So that was great. So yes, after the farm, then as I was saying, we traveled in Australia for a few weeks with Marco, camping and enjoying all the beauty that Australia has to offer. Yeah, and. I was so glad, because that's everything I wanted, when everything I was dreaming of and thinking about it. And as I said before, if you really see something so vivid in your mind, it can be reality. We have to believe this, because why not? We deserve always the best for ourselves. After the traveling, we went back to Sydney, where I met my brother again. We spent some days together, and then me and Marco. To close the year in the best way, we decided to go for a travel. So we traveled for 2 months in Asia, in which we visited the Philippines, Cambodia, and Thailand. What I can say, it was some of the best experience of my life. And I think also like coming to Australia and seeing everything around here in Australia, what I've been seeing in Asia. it really started to develop so much love for nature for me. There is so much beauty out there, really, and we really have to consider this, what we can see with our eyes and what we can feel it when we see it. And it's very, even like sometimes, I don't know, many people maybe doesn't, but when sometimes I'm out there, I listen to the nature, to the sounds of it, even just the breeze or the sounds of a bird, or I like to say the melody of the ocean or the waves when I go for a walk on the beach. Little things that may let you feel something. So honestly, Philippines for me was the best because the beauty I've seen there about the color of the seas and all the nature in Philippines and everything. When I went to those islands in El Nido, which I guess many people visited, it was just beautiful. And keep saying traveling with Marco was great because we were keep training while we were traveling and keeping ourselves motivated. And I like to say that it definitely was the best person that I could wish to travel with. We were both very lucky for each other because it's not easy to find a person in which you just met and you can be 7 months together, like 7 months, like sleeping in the car and sleeping in the same room, sharing everything, the food, the money, the travel. And it's not easy to have always a good relationship with someone like this because you are yourself and you are in some ways, and he's another person, he's different and he's in his way. So but we go very good along together, which is great. Then Cambodia and Thailand, in which the total was 2 months. And
actually, just one question in between. So with Marco, you said you met and then you started traveling together and you've been to all those places. Do you remember if there was like sometimes a time where you were had some differences and or maybe an argument, and how did you handle this in your friendship?
Yeah, if I have to think about it, as I was saying before, we didn't really have ways to argument because we really had a good relationship. And I think I'm a very calm person too, so I always try to adapt in every situation to don't be annoying. Sometimes you had some moments in which when you feel you want to be by yourself, maybe sometimes when we argued a little bit in where we wanted to go, to choose maybe which place to go. Or if, to be honest, I have to say with Marco, I couldn't really remember a situation in which we argued for something in particular, in which there was something that wasn't right, because he's a really great person, a very good heart, you know what I mean? And I guess we really found each other, so everything we were doing, we were so happy to do it together. Sometimes I was finding a situation because maybe when we were going around and maybe having some drinks and I don't know why, when you have the feeling you always want to be good, I was saying to him, man, in this period together, thank you very much for everything. Sometimes I was like doing something wrong with you, please tell me, and I'm sorry in advance, but he was like, Gennaro, please don't say that, because we both have been so good for each other, and traveling like this and experience this, you're never gonna forget. Everything, so many other things can happen in life, but I'm really glad that since I started, to move, since I was 16, I have been doing so many different things because that's what I wanted, about the traveling, about the living life in a different ways, about experience, doing something new. And if I am what I am now, is because of all of this, because I didn't wanted a simple life. I wanted something that when I go back and remember it, when I go back and see it, I feel like nice, I feel like I'm so glad of what I did, and I'm so privileged for what the opportunity that I had to do such things, and the people I have met. And I know that there is still so much ahead of me in the future. There is still so much beautiful things to happen, even though I know that maybe living in Australia is not going to be in my future because of the visa and all the other different reasons. But I don't want to limit myself to something that's, oh, what I gonna do after. Don't worry, like, and each day at its own effort. So they're always gonna be, and I know that there is something better for me in my future, and I can't wait for it, to be honest. But as soon as I will be here in Australia, I know that I have just to enjoy my best way, enjoy at the fullest every day, and be present in every moment. So as I was saying before, I mentioned it. Let's say after the first year in Australia, and then because of my passion in fitness and stuff, I start to develop this mentality, and I will start to say, man, what you want to do in your life? What's going to be your job? And I always been passionate for training, even though I grew up in a football environment since I was a kid. Of course, I come from Italy. So yes, I started to develop this mentality of, I was like, man, if you want to be fit, if you want to train every time you want, if you want to train and try different things, you gotta do it your job. So if it's gonna be your job, you're gonna learn so much, and you're gonna learn the knowledge how to make obviously yourself better, which I did, and the knowledge in training. But also, obviously, you choose this path in the beginning because you want to help someone, you want to help others, and obviously, fitness can be one way of it. Even though with the years, then I discovered, like, obviously without judging anyone, but I see myself as a trainer, or maybe also as a coach. Not only just you come into me and we do a session together, you pay him the money. I'm helping you maybe physically, but that is not enough for me. So I'm developing in the years, obviously, the will that I wanted to do more, and trying to help people in different ways as well. And because it's not only about the fitness, it's not only about the money, and I'm really into also mentality, how to respect yourself, and I don't know if it's good to say, but like, kind of educate people and teaching them how to appreciate themselves more in living their life in a better way. Is because sometimes just training is not really enough if you do not respect yourself out of the gym in any ways, which I don't really need to mention. We know very well what is out there. So then I choose this path in the beginning. Now it's been 4 years I'm in the fitness industry, and I did obviously gym, and my background mostly is about calisthenics and bodyweight movements, in which I always find myself more into it, also because of my genetic and physique, which I loved, and because I could be able to train anywhere. And also when I was in the farms, I met people in which I introduced this discipline, and now I know that they are just training with calisthenics, and they said, man, I thank you so much that you introduced me this, because those were people just training in the gym, but now they are just training outdoor using rings and bodyweight moves, because they found that their body works better with that. And I'm very happy for it. Even in my little, I always like that I can be a little bit inspirational in some ways, not being arrogant here, you know what I mean? So, but obviously now being in fitness, I'm, as I was saying, I see myself in the future to do more. As I was saying prior in the beginning, being able to give more to the people, and I can use fitness, I know, as a channel to hit, but obviously I want to do more in other ways. That's why I know myself, I have to improve my knowledge, I have to improve everything about reading and growing personal development, because if I know more, if I have more for me, I can give more. It's been a while now that I started to develop this interest in animal flow and animal movements, in which we had our first class here in Australia this morning, and I was very happy with the outcome because 10 people showed up. It was great support, and I was very happy to see the curiosity of the people.
Can you maybe explain a little bit about animal flow, what it is?
Animal flow is a mostly ground-based way of training. We mostly work on the ground using animals' movements, animals' positions, and trying to develop, because with this obviously you try to develop a better mobility, core strength, endurance. You can work pretty much everything with the animal flow, animal movements. And I believe, I like to say, because of what I'm experiencing in myself since when I practice mobility and animal movements, the way I feel after it is great, and the way I let me feel during the day, I'm like, I want the people feel the same, and that's why I wanna teach this to others. I'm trying to push myself to do something a little bit different than just being a trainer in a gym. And I know that because I believe, if you imagine that you are training using animal movements, you can talk about an ape, talk about the dog or a crab, all the animals that you can mention. There are so many poses out there. My belief is that imagining how hard those movements are, because they are hard. Obviously, we are not animals, right? We're always standing still, and we work just with our legs in the when we're moving. For example, the hip is you are in a deep squat position. You can go in deep hip and reaching with your arms forward and stretching your back and pushing your feet on the ground. And while you're pushing your hands forward, you press your hip back and stretch completely. And then from the hip, you're standing up in the standing hip, in which you open up your chest, you extend your hands, and you are in a squatting position with the heels off the ground. Which, this is one of the positions, like the crab, for example, in which is more like working, extending your lats, the muscles of your back, your lower back, strengthening your lower back, like when you go in a back bridge, that's a great, one of my favorite poses so far, and I found it very beneficial also for shoulder mobility, because you pull your hand in the back over your head, and you extend also like the range of motion of your shoulder, and it works your lower back. And when you push from your glutes, that's why it's good, because you use your body all the time. And I like to say, I believe that, if you train this way and you master some of those poses, you let it become a little bit more often in your routine. Imagining mastering it, when they become easier, how strong you will become and how you will move in your everyday life. That's what's the aim of it for me, for my opinion, improving the way we move. Because we are often sitting, often just walking, standing a lot while we're working, or sitting a lot, and also like when we go up from the stairs. So when we bend over to get something, maybe from the floor or anything, because for me it's not only like training because you wanna achieve a body composition. It's a training for feeling better also in your everyday life. I do train too. I'm not just doing animal flow. I do train with calisthenics still. I don't think that this needs to replace your actual training, but can be an addition to improve your overall performance. That's why I want to do like some classes and train with people, and they can come maybe after they training at the gym, after they surf. I do really have a big consideration in the importance of mobility, in which you work a lot while you're training in animal flow. Because I was looking to something that I need to have a strong belief in it, and working just in a gym for me wasn't enough. So here I'm kind of finding more purpose to do something that I know that people need to be just a little bit patient and give it a go a few times and see it, how they can feel better. There are so many ways out there to train. There are so many ways. There is yoga, there is Pilates, there is gymnastics. So many ways, they're all great, because our body is made for movement. We have to move. And here, we're learning how to move better. And that's the aim for me. I still have so much to learn, and I can't wait for it. But I really can't wait for it too, to let as many people as possible to learn from it. And why I've decided also to do this, as I was saying before, is also because I want to use this as also a channel to, for me, giving you always a good word while we are training, before the training, motivating you, after the training, pushing you to do something good maybe for your day. Why not? The nice thing of this job also is that you can do it your way. You decide how you want to do it, how you want to let the people have the experience. And so you can be really like decide everything how it will go. And I like to say there is not much. I like to say we don't have to worry too much about if someone will come, if someone will listen. There's always gonna be someone that will like what you do and the way you do it, and there always will be someone that will listen and appreciate what you do.
What kind of education do you have in the fitness industry? What did you do? Did you do a diploma or just a course? And how did you come to the animal flow, especially? When did you hear the first time of it?
As I say, I started like 4 years ago, and I have one diploma in fitness, in which I took it in Italy before to come here. And then coming here in Australia, I had to obviously get the certifications for being able to work. So I have a Cert 3 and Cert 4 in fitness, fitness instructor and personal training. To be honest, that's all for now, even though I know that to become a better trainer, a better man, we have to always improving ourselves and in our knowledge. So obviously for me, I have the aim in the future to invest in myself, which I think everyone should do it, to do some courses and pay for it. And I'm very interested in nutrition as well, so I really would like to become better in that, so being able to give nutritional advices to people, and it's definitely something that is going to happen at the right time. About animal flow, to be honest, is there is one person I discovered a while ago. I always wanted to move better, and when I started to discover calisthenics, and in calisthenics mobility is a really big thing, so I was enjoying so much doing mobility, and because I was feeling so good. And then with the time, the things happen for a reason and come to you because you are kind of attracting to yourself. And then I discovered this guy, which I suggest you to check it out. It's called Portal Aido. He's from Israel, and obviously he has like 20 years experience in what he does, but he really does teach the way you move, and he has a movement for himself, the way you trick your body and how you move it in so many different ways. And I was really fascinated from the way he does his job. And then after it, there is an animal flow as well, which is a thing now. And I'm thinking that I want to be part of it, and really because this is something that everyone can really do it. And it's for everyone and for every age, and maybe we always say that we're trying to promote ourselves and saying maybe what we do is the best thing. But I don't want to say this, because everyone need to have the possibility to choose what they want to do in terms of training. So no one has the obligation to come, but everyone can have the curiosity to try. So why not? And I always would like people at least try, and they can choose if this can fit for them or not. And I'm sure that people that will have more understanding in this, and once they come and try.
So, thank you so far. So you said before that you learned to enjoy the environment you are in and to live in the moment and things like this. And how can you handle this? Because I think for many people it's so difficult to don't worry about the future, and that you say, oh, I will see what will come up next. Don't worry about the visa, don't plan too much, because some people worry also about money and how can they do it in the future. So where do you take the power or the belief in yourself from that you don't worry about and that you are so relaxed regarding the future?
Good, very good question. Where do I start with this? To be honest, I always try to be to control myself, and because I always wanted to control everything which is around me, and also as you were saying, for example, that people maybe they worry too much sometimes about the future. They are maybe worried. They think about what's going to happen next, and what about this? Maybe I will feel better when I have a better job. Maybe in the future I will have a better opportunity. And then I think about it. What about now? What are you doing now? That's my thing. Like, why do I have to think too much? It's good to think about the future, and if there is something that excites you, it's good to think about it. But we don't have to forget about the present moment, because every day that we live and we spend, we're not gonna have opportunity to look back and to have it back and change something. So if we don't live in the present moment and think too much about what's gonna happen tomorrow, even that don't need to think about in 1 year time. Even like, okay, you wake up and you're already thinking about tomorrow. It's not the right way. So I want to go there and enjoy every moment. I go to the beach and I take it and try to really feeling it and listening whatever around me. And because I believe that we deserve the best for this life, and worrying it too much is not a good thing, because we don't know what's gonna be ahead of us. Because I always like the thinking, having the mindset that they're always good in our life, and where we are now in this moment and what we are doing is at the right place at the moment. Sometimes we cannot be very happy maybe, but instead of think why this is happening and you want to change it, start to think how you can change it. It's all about also the way you talk to yourself, the way you the words that you express out there, and the way you think and you behave. It's going to come back to you. So I like also to say that I have my personal vocabulary in words I use for myself, and I try to don't use negative words. I try to always substitute a word to a better one. So always keep myself motivated, and always keep myself that there could always be, and there will be, something better for yourself in the future. Why not? We have to wish this for ourselves, and I know that for me there is indeed. As I have the wish for everyone of this.
So do you have a special tool when you find yourself in, oh, I'm worried now? Do you have a tool to bring you back to this mindset?
As I was saying, I'm not like the happiest person in the world. Of course, sometimes I have moments of anxiety. I have moments where I don't really feel comfortable, and I'm kind of worried, But always, I try to go over it, because our mind is really tricky. Our mind always bring us, wanted to give us maybe negativity and bring us back and hold us back. It's very important to fight it and don't let limiting beliefs overwhelm us. And for me, my tool is my personal talk with my motivation, talking to myself, to motivating myself. But as I said in the very beginning, I do pray. I do talk with God every time. I don't have just to come there and pray. I have it's not even about religion. It's about a personal relationship you have in what you believe. So I can talk with God in any time, in any moment I have a feeling in myself. I call to Him and I talk to Him and I ask for guidance. I ask for peace. I ask for answer and anything. So definitely this is also another big part of my life, to keeping me in peace, to keeping me on the right path. But we all have bad moments. I know I'm talking here and maybe everything sounds great, but it wasn't always. It's not always like this. It's for everyone. This is the life. It's the reality, and we have to accept to live with this, but with the will, with the awareness that can always, everything that happen has a reason and can always be better. Can always something better can come after it. Because I like to say, we deserve it. We deserve the best for ourselves. And if we are focused on giving our best out there for the others, and for everything we have around us, all of this, even though we are not expecting it, but we'll come back to you. Definitely.
Nice words. Thank you very much. It's been great so far, and I think we slowly wrap this up, coming to our last couple of questions. What I want to know as well, what we usually ask our guests is, I don't know if you want to have kids in the future, but if you don't, it's all right. Just imagine, like, for example, you would have a school full of like young kids, adolescents, and you would have to teach them something, or like you had to choose the subjects they have in school. You know, maybe something that is missing nowadays in the school system. What do you think is like very important for kids to learn in a very young age? Early on.
It doesn't have to be a subject. It can also be something you experienced in your past that you want to pass on.
That's maybe one of my favorite questions, actually. I really love it, because what I didn't mention just yet, that I do really love kids, and I have so much admiration for them, so much respect, so much. They give me so much joy, and even when I am at work, I talk more with kids than with customers, you know, because they bring me so much, and I believe there is so much to learn from them. In their simplicity, they are so genuine. They ask so many questions, and they're always full of energy and joy. Obviously, they are kids; they don't have the thoughts that we have, of course, but. What you ask me about family, about children, of course I want to have a family one day. It's one of my biggest things in my life. As I had a family, I had my relationship with my dad, maybe in which wasn't the best one, you know, but not complaining. I love my dad, but for what I have lived, I know that I want to be a dad one day, and I want to be the best dad I could possibly be for my children, because maybe there was something that I have missed in my life, you know, and I would never want this to happen to my children eventually one day in the future, if I will have some. But I know I will, because it's something that I really want. And it's something that in a lifetime is for me personally is really important. And for me, it's also really important that to have a family, we have to think about it also. Obviously, it's not easy, but you have to find the right person to share all of this, to build all of this. Not easy nowadays, but definitely possible. And I know for myself that for me, this person is really close, and I know that he's coming on my way. I'm not saying that, you know, I cannot talk too much in the future that with this person I will have family or everything we are talking about. I'm just saying that something very powerful I feeling is coming in my life, and it's just a matter of time. And I'm very excited, and I always I have this feeling, and because I had this desire, I was praying for it. I was having this in my heart, to having a switch in my life and meet someone really incredible and unique. And I believe that there is already someone out there. It just needs to happen at the right time. And because I believe that for each of us, there is that person that is kind of, let's say, made for you. Because I understand there are different situations, but for the way I live, the way I want in my life, I really want this to be really special, and I want to be this, as I like to say, out of the ordinary. That's why I always push myself and to growing, be a good man, be a better man every day, and loving life, loving nature, respecting myself, respecting the food I have every day in abundance, my relationship with God and everything, to be a person that's I can give so much then eventually in that day for an eventual partner, for my family and my kids and eventually children. Because for me, as I mentioned already, we need to live it at the fullest, at the very best. We don't know we're gonna have enough time to go back and change something. So that's why it's good to do the things with the right steps, at the right time, without rushing it. It's not all about family and stuff. It's all about life. We don't have to rush it. We have to don't rush the process. Trust the process. I'm sure you have heard this about this many times. So yes. Then you ask me about also the children. To be honest, what I see in the future as well in me, I would love to do something with kids, to work with kids, because I don't know, I don't wanna sound weird, but they give me joy. They give me. I really like to be surrounded by them. I already had experience in the past. I just, when I see them and talk to them and being able to work or do something, that would be great for me. Maybe this is not something maybe I can still see it and say it, because I think it's something that will come with the time. But I also believe that what we should consider is the education for children, because I believe in this generation, what we are teaching in schools, it's good, but maybe we should consider to change the way we educate them. Instead of we teaching them many things, okay, that's fine, no judgment here. But what about sometimes maybe teaching them how to eat better, teaching them how to respect more nature, maybe don't throw the plastic, and maybe try to respect more, wasting less water, or the willing of help someone, and being more like loving your family, and the importance of doing some physical activity, and learning maybe how to learn. Like they learn. Many kids there are really distracted from many, because they are kids, of course. But in school you can also, because there are techniques. I'm experiencing reading books and stuff, that you can learn how to learn better and to improve to improve the understanding of the things, your readings and everything. So also this can be another way of education and teaching, because we really need to understand that those kids are our future. I'm 32 years old now, and the kids are growing up. They are growing with so much digital distraction in their hands already, and they are just 10. So I understand it's the society that brought this in, but we can always make our own effort to change it for our family, for our children, and that's why I would like to have an opportunity to work with them, do something with them to shift this a little bit. Because we need the great children to grow up with great values as well, because we didn't even mention values and principles in life, which are very important and getting lost on the way because we are too distracted. So that's my thought about it, and I hope it is enough. And without even mention, I think you understood that I love kids and I appreciate family so much. And
one more question about this. You said books that you learned a lot about this. Do you have a recommendation for our listeners?
Yes, I do. To be honest, as I was saying, I started to read. I went in a bookshop and I bought 2 books, which changed a lot my way of seeing life and approach it, because I was looking for it, like personal development and growing. So I discovered this writer Robin Sharma, which I really recommend to dig in it a little bit. The book I read is the first I read in this last period was The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari, which is a great read. I really recommend that. Then after it, I've read The Way of the Peaceful Warrior by Dan Millman, which is another great read as well. It's really like 180 pages, and it gives you so much, and the appreciation of living in the present, being happy now, and talking about love. And it says one phrase I never forget, like sometimes we question about love and stuff, but love doesn't really need to always be understood. It need to be lived. So there are all those things I bring it with me, and I write it down, and I can feel it. It helped me to improve. Then after it, I read one book about nutrition. It was like it called The Longevity Diet, in which explains you how to live longer and gives you example about nutrition, which best nutrition can be to live longer, the timing of the eating, and many other things, talking about also like disease, fasting. And another great read, which this is, I'm still going there and read it, some parts of it. It was the 5 a.m. Club, which was an incredible read for me too, still from Robbie Sharma. Robbie Sharma is a great personal development writer, and I really recommend to check him out. And this book is one of the most reading book in the world, and he's one of the most reading writer as well. The 5 a.m. Club is about developing, mastering routine from when you wake up early in the morning. This book I'm reading now, which I was saying about the learning and stuff, is being Limitless by Jim Quick. It's a great read. I'm learning so much. This book teaches you how to read faster, learn better, learn faster, learn more. And so it gives you the opportunity and being able to read and to understand better, gaining the knowledge, to have opportunity to gain more knowledge. I'm really enjoying it. So yes, and I still have so many more to read.
Thank you very much. We put this all in the show notes. And funny enough, that Limitless was also recommended by Thiago. There was some episodes ago. He's a black belt jiu-jitsu from the Gold Coast, and he recommended this book as well. So thank you very much for all of this. I think it's really inspiring. I think you would do great with teaching kids or educating kids in any way, because with your calm attitude and also like your relaxed kind of being, and it's really good to have you around, and to like work with you in the fitness industry, and also to have you as a friend. So thank you very much for your time today. I think it was really inspiring. We already learned a lot from you, and I'm sure that many people will do in the future as well. It was also interesting to have someone from Italy again, and you hear it in the way we speak, because we are not a native English speaker. We do this podcast on English because we want people from all around the world to have the chance to listen to people from all around the world, and because English is the most spoken language, especially like in the environment we live in. That's why we choose this language. So thank you to the listeners to understanding all this, and
and keep on with this, what you're doing, and on your goals, and what Ben just said with your goal or your thoughts about teaching kids. Just keep going as you are and develop how you are. We are very impressed. But a very final question is, because our podcast name is Unpopular People Podcast. What would you do differently if you would be popular all over the world, or at least in Australia?
So many good questions, guys. Really well done. Yes, actually, I'm not like a person that like to expose myself too much. So that's why for me it was nice to do this with you, because it's about unpopular people. So we are just simple human being that we are sharing insights and being inspiration for us. And thank you very much for that. So obviously, popularity is a very big thing nowadays. For the way I am, I'm not really looking for it. But if eventually sometimes it will come in the future, for the right reason, I might take in consideration, but not because I want to be popular. Not really. I have the idea that I would like to do good for the world, but still staying in the shade. You know what I mean? Which I believe is possible. And you don't have to be popular, but I like to take the example when you ask me this question. I brought in mind one of my biggest inspiration, which is Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali, for me, many people maybe think it's just a boxer, but he wasn't. He did so much for the world, and you know that Muhammad Ali is the most written person in the history, in which the people have written about him. Apart from that, obviously this is something that I have read. It's not something that must to be true. It's not so. But what he said, he obviously he was really popular, and once he said in an interview, because they kind of be asking the same question, and he said, "I will use my popularity and my fame to help people, to elevate people's life, to try to change the world until I will be on this planet and be ready to meet God in the right place." And I really like what he says. But coming back to me, saying if I might be popular one day, using the popularity definitely, as I think you understood about it, is gonna be to change the world as much as I can. Investing my popularity and money that I might have in the future to do really good for the world in terms of environmental, in terms of education, in terms of giving something to people that doesn't have. Because there are so many people that don't really have much. And we are so privileged to have all of this every day in abundance, Sometimes we also because I see myself, I can also help people and improving their lifestyle like I'm doing now, but I'm also interested to help the people that really need, like struggling with the food, struggling with their health, because we need more of these people that are willing to help. And I am aware that sometimes maybe having some money, availability of money, it can make the difference to create something to be able to help more. I'm not looking for money for myself. I like the simplicity in my life, even though I wouldn't mind to live in a nice place, have a nice house, but everything, what matters really for me, if I would have the opportunity, is to use it in the best way I can to give. That's the main point for me.
So thank you very much. That was really great. I really also liked your idea of what you can do with your popularity. So thank you very much for your words, for your time and everything. And if there are any final words, it's now the time for it.
No, I just wanted to thank you and show me the appreciation I have to give me this opportunity to be unpopular, because it feels good to be unpopular. Why not? And I have my really appreciation for the work you're doing, trying to inspire the world and the people around. And I wish you all the best, not even luck, all the best, because luck is not a thing, all the best of the opportunity, and all the best of things that can come to keep going with this and keep growing with this, because as you did for me, I hope you will find even more people that will be able to share and inspire others, because we need more of this. And thank you guys for this project that you are running, and one more time giving me this opportunity to share mine. And I hope even in my little I can give some words of encouragement and inspiration to whoever will listen this. And thank you again.
Thank you very much for listening to this great interview with Gennaro. We talked a lot about friendship and family and spirituality, and also like what you do if you were popular. And so if you felt inspired, reach out to us, get in touch with us, get in touch with him, join our community, join our newsletter. And also if you want to find out more about unpopular people, just visit our website. It is
www.unpopularpeople.com. You can also shoot us a message if you have any questions about our projects, and all the show notes about this episode you will find on our website as well. Thank you and goodbye.